Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are previewing week 1 of college football right now with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com, giving us a lot of great advice already this year in the NFL preseason. I'm very happy to have him as a regular guest covering the NFL regular season and, of course, college football. Right now we're going to discuss Northwestern and Cal. Joe Duffy, thanks for being back with us.
Thank you, Peter.
All right, Cal and Northwestern is what we're going to talk about right now. But before we get into it, give a very well deserved and well-earned plug for OffshoreInsiders.com. If anyone's finally deciding to sign up with you now that it's the start of the football season, tell them about the website and how to do it.
Yeah, since we very rarely mess around with week 4 of the preseason, and we did not make any picks on Thursday night, we already clinched another winning preseason. It's going to be every bit as good as last season in the NFL college football. Hopefully you've been listening to our videos, listening to the analysis, watching them, of course. But that's the same type of stuff that I have on my premium picks. But remember, my premium picks are my absolute best stuff.
Right.
We always disclose why you should bet on a team. 27th year winning in the business, full-time, OffshoreInsiders.com.
All right, Joe, Cal Northwestern, interesting matchup here, right? Both these teams are coming off of disastrous seasons, not just on the field, but against the spread. Northwestern went 1-9 against the spread over their last 10 games last season, and Cal was completely abominable last year in all ways, and they went 2-10 against the spread. This year, though, you know, obviously they're going to get a lot healthier, and maybe more comfortable in the system. And, you know, there's only one way for Cal to go, right? Up. So they're either going to be roughly the same as last year, or if there's any change, they'll be at least a little bit improved. Northwestern's having, some problems in the preseason, right? They lost their top star running back. They've had a couple of significant injuries, defensive linemen, and their top wide receiver, and they're a double-digit favorite, right? Minus 10.5 is the line. The total 60.5, and last year these two teams met. The game did go to 74, so maybe game could go over. We know that Cal's play, is conducive to high-scoring games, but with all the problems Northwestern has had in the preseason, and with Cal coming off their just like super embarrassing year as a Pac-12 team, maybe Cal plus 10.5 is the right side here. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, no, I might tend to agree with that, but I think the best play here is going to be on the over. I actually originally was sort of leaning towards thinking that California was going to be a lot like Arizona was last year, where Arizona, the totals were just too high. 2 years ago, Arizona, much like California, last year had so many injuries on defense, and then there was kind of the baptism by fire. Their defense wasn't quite as bad as they looked. But the big difference here was Arizona was going back into the same system, and they also struggled to learn. They had a bunch of young players learning that complicated system, defensive schemes that they played in Arizona. But in the case of California, they're having to learn a new defensive scheme and a new defensive system. So I think California maybe later on in the year might be a pretty good under team. But this game, I'm definitely going to have the over. And in part is I have really no more than like 5 or 6 opinions that I truly trust who can influence one of my picks. And I've got a very sharp guy, a guy who's been on both sides. He's worked offshore as an odds maker. He's been a professional handicapper. I know him from my score phone days, and he absolutely loves the over here. And I agree with him in a sense. I mean, he talked me into it, I should say, although I do think that California at the end of the year is probably going to be a pretty good under team. But again, Jared Goff, he was a stud recruit out of high school. He did everything that was expected of him last year. Yes, he did make his freshman mistakes. Looks like they're going to have a little bit more balance, though, with the running game, which really is going to help him. He'll cut down on the mistakes, and I still think that California is going to win or lose with their air game. And, yeah, they might run the ball a little bit more, but like I said, that's just going to give them more balance. And the truth is, even if their defense is improved, I don't think it's going to be improved early in the year. So I think that both California will put up a lot of points, and I think Northwestern's catching their defense at the right time, and Northwestern's going to put up a bunch of points. I was saying Arizona because I was making the comparison, obviously, right. California to Arizona of last year. But no, I think this game, perfect situation, it still will go over the total.
Over 60.5 it is. Thanks so much, Joe.